Yes, things are at a standstill. They had a work stoppage just after midnight. See, here's the problem. This was a concrete walled building, and it was a wood structure within a wooden framed roof, and all of that wooden structure is gone now. So you got these four walls, and they're kind of unstable because this fire was extremely hot. So firefighters were saying they were looking up at the back wall last night, and they saw it leaning in a couple of inches. And you know, this is a two-story building. That's a very heavy wall. They had to get out of the way. Also, they're looking at a real crucial area right now, which is where the fire may have started. Now, I spoke with one of the residents who lived in this building, and he was in there when the fire started, and he told me it started in the back left-hand side of the building. So if you're walking in the front door and facing the back wall, it would be on the back left-hand side. He said it was kind of a unused space, and he said it started on the first floor. Now, he explained to me how quickly this fire moved, and it's really unbelievable how he explained it. He said he first noticed it. He saw an orange glow in the background, and he reached for his fire extinguisher, and he figures that no more than 15 or 20 seconds could have elapsed when he reached for the fire extinguisher. But by that point, the flames had advanced so much and the black smoke was rolling towards him that he realized that the fire extinguisher was going to do absolutely no good at all. So he threw it to the side and started running, as many people did, for the door. But he said at that point, the power shut off, and that's what made it so difficult for everyone to get out. Now, he knew where the door was, but think about all those people who were visiting for the first time. That was like a labyrinth inside. So they were trapped inside with the lights off, the smoke thickening, and the flames advancing extremely fast. So it was a very, very difficult situation in there right now, and that's why they are recovering so many bodies. As you said, the death count is now up to 36. But they expect it to continue to rise when they finish going through this debris, and they're about 70% through it right now.
70% through it now, but they're having to stop at least until later on in the morning. When will they be able to get back inside that building?
Well, you know, they're going to have to get some structural engineers to look at it and make sure it can be stabilized first. So that's anyone's guess. You know, yesterday afternoon we saw them bringing a lot of lumber out here so that they could brace things, and we presume they'll be doing a little bit more of that. But the firefighters made it very clear, and it's understandable. They're not going to go back in there until this place is deemed safe, because if that wall comes over, this could be a whole new tragedy.
Now, you mentioned the fact that fire officials are sort of looking at a back area of the building, and the gentleman that you spoke to, who was inside when the fire happened, said it was sort of an unused area of the building.
Yeah.
What were officials saying when they talked about why they thought that this may have been the point of origin for the fire?
So they're going from what people are saying, and they're also looking at burn patterns on the walls, the floor, and the structure itself. They're looking for the hottest point of the fire, and that's why the firefighter talking about the steel in the area, how it bent and twisted, you know, that signifies a very hot part of the fire. So they're able to kind of look for that and then look outward from there to see how the fire spread and kind of trace it back to the point of origin. So that's what they're attempting to do right now.
Can we talk a little bit more about what it was like inside the building prior to this fire? As I understand it, you know, it was described sort of as a tinderbox kind of waiting to happen here. Why was there so much stuff in there?
Well, you know, it was just, if you've seen those before pictures, it was an incredible space, eclectic, I guess would be a word to describe it, with all sorts of furniture, wooden furniture, sculptures, tapestries, carpets, and then they were divided into several artist studios on the first floor. So they basically put up walls and they made a little boxed off area, and those were 24-hour artist studios, and people lived and worked there and created their art. There are about 22 to 23 of those studios. Now on the upstairs area, they turned that kind of into a performance area, a venue area, if you will. So they had some musical instruments up there, and they had a space where people could come and watch a show or listen to a DJ or watch performance art, and that's what they did up there. But see, here's the thing. I mean, all of this was kind of put together in a ramshackle way, and there was only one stairway up to the top there, and my understanding was that they actually used wooden crate pallets for the platform of that stairway. So they kind of used what they had to build a lot of things inside this structure. And that's why there's a lot of questions now surrounding code enforcement and whether or not the city was out here to inspect this, and why they didn't come out here earlier to inspect this when there have been so many complaints, not just in the last couple of months, but over the last couple of years.
Yeah, when you see the images of what the place looked like inside, and you hear about how rapidly the fire spread, I can only imagine with the smoke, with all the clutter, you could be feet from the exit and maybe not even know it if you weren't familiar.
And that's the thing, and you know, people have told me again and again, people who visited this place and former residents, they've gone in there and told the people who run this, hey, this is a fire trap, this is an accident waiting to happen, and they said that there was just not a lot of response to that. But it seems like most people who went there took a look around and thought to themselves, this could be a dangerous place if there were ever a fire here, and we saw what happened when that was the case. But yes, you know, you talked about the black smoke, you talked about that labyrinth downstairs. If you weren't familiar with it, people who live there tell me there's pretty much no hope you were going to get out.
Yeah, so sad. Carter Evans, thank you so much.